Hi everyone, it's Adam7Fishtanks, and in today's video I'm going to bring you 5 things that I wish I knew when I started out fish keeping. So let's get into this. So when you're starting out fish keeping, you're kind of a sponge. You're absorbing bits of information here and there, whether that's from your local shop you're visiting, whether it's from a chain store you're visiting, or stuff you've seen online. When I first started out, I was definitely a sponge. I was looking up videos online, I was looking through forums, Facebook groups, and also going to different shops and chain stores and hearing what bits of advice that they had for me. So the first thing that I'd recommend to any beginner is to buy your own test kit. Now I know some test kits can be a little expensive, but trust me, it's worth it. It saves you having to run to the fish shop when there's something wrong with your tank. You can there and then test your water if you see any issues going on with your fish or anything going wrong with your tank, and it's a great way to monitor your parameters. When you first set up your tank, you've always got issues with maybe ammonia spikes, you've maybe got issues with nitrite spikes, and yeah, it's just one of them things that you need to monitor when you first set up your tank. So that's the first thing I'd recommend to you. Number 2 on this list is making sure that your lighting period is on for around 7 to 8 hours. Now, a lot of beginner fish keepers have this issue where they'll have a lot of algae blooms and outbreaks at the beginning of their journey of fish keeping, and that's because you're leaving your light on too long. A lot of these lights that you get with your fish tanks have a preset setting where once the cycle has gone throughout the day, it turns into a night light where it has this blue light too, and this blue light can also be the cause of having algae kick off and blooms and stuff like that. So make sure to turn off that blue setting and not leave on the blue light all night long, because trust me, you will quickly learn that it will be the root cause of your algae problems. Like I was saying again, if you leave it on for more than 8 hours a day and you leave it on all day and then the blue light on all night, it will definitely cause an algae outbreak, and before you know it, you'll be hating the look of your fish tank. So that's number 2. Number 3 is accepting the fact that there will be illness in your fish tanks. Now, when you start off, you're not too clued up about that, and when you see that your fish have got ick or white spot, it is the absolute end of the world. You think, oh my god, it's going to be an absolute wipeout. If you speak to people that aren't fully into the hobby and you go, oh, there's white spot, they'll go, I used to have fish and I had a massive wipeout because of this white spot, and then you're panicking and you're having a bit of a meltdown, and then you're chasing down different shops and looking for treatments and ways to treat it, and that's where having a back stock of treatment comes in. Now, I always make sure that I have like a mixture and variety of treatments, as when you get new fish, you never know what illnesses they can come in with, whether they've been quarantined by the shop, or even when they're in your tank and sometimes the water quality may be off or something like that. That can be the slight cause of white spot or bacterial issues or fungal issues. So it's always good to stock treatments. Now, I have for myself Aquarium salt. Now, this is again not an essential one, but I make sure that I have this every now and again because some fish will require this when you're putting them under treatment. I have myself this Escher Exit, and this is a white spot treatment. Now again, you don't have to get these brands, you can get different brands for different treatments and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter, but these are the ones I currently have at home. Then you can see as well, I've got Escher 2000, and this is a great multi-purpose one. It can help with fin rot, it can help with fungus, it can help with dropsy, bacterial issues and skin problems, and gill issues too. So it's quite a versatile treatment, and you may find that some brands may do just singular treatments for one thing, or maybe something like this where it can treat multiple things. And then finally, I've got this dewormer one, and this is just again a thing that you'll treat to your fish when sometimes you may see that they're a bit skinny and they aren't eating properly, or maybe you're seeing white stringy poop. This is what you treat for them. So again, having a variety of different treatments and things available is essential in my opinion, because if you're having that manic like panic stations moment where you see that your fish are ill and you haven't got treatment at hand, and then that means you have to order online, wait a couple of days if a shop isn't local to you, or you're having to drive to your local fish shop, it's better to be safe than sorry than to just stock up on the essentials basically. And I think having treatment at your dispense is an essential thing. So that's number 3. Number 4 on our list is having a variety of fish food available. See, I know you've probably heard that, you've seen that A lot of people have used flake over the years, and that's the go-to thing to feed your fish. However, a lot of flake brands don't have a lot of nutrients in, and that's where you need to make sure that you're feeding a variety to your fish alongside the flake too. So there's no problem with feeding flake, but I have a variety myself. So what I usually have is our frozen food at dispense, and you can get these multi-purpose packs too that have different types of frozen food, so you're not just giving your fish one thing. You also got like your powdery foods, you got your pellets, you got your spirulinas. These again are all different types of foods that contain different ingredients, whether it's vegetable based or meat based, and you've just got to be a bit cautious, especially with what fish you're keeping too. So I know again it's easy to go towards flake, but having that variety there is making sure that you're covering all grounds. And make sure to do your research on what fish you're keeping, because of course you may just have a fish that'll only eat live food. So it's essential that again you do your research before you buy the food for your fish. But again, it's also essential to have a variety too. Imagine being yourself a person who is eating the same meal all day, every day. Eventually you're going to get a bit fed up of it, and you're not getting the right nutrients, you're not getting the right vitamins and things that you need for your body. And it's the same with fish too. Another thing to stem into that point is also don't overfeed your fish. Again, it can depend on your tank size, it can depend on what fish you keep too, but I make a point of only feeding my fish once a day, but when I do feed them, I give them a decent feed with a variety of different things depending on what fish are in each tank. So yeah, number 4, have a variety of food, but also make sure that you're not overfeeding too. Now point number 5, I get it, there's probably a lot more things that I could mention to beginners or hobbyists, and I'm probably going to make a part 2 of this at some point in the future, but for me, start with a bit of a bigger tank. I know that it's easy and it's cheaper to go and get yourself a little cube or little starter setup tank, and you think, oh, it's nice and easy, the smaller the easier, but trust me when I say this, the bigger the water volume, the better. First of all, it takes longer for the water to become dirty, especially when you've got a lot of fish in that tank. If you've got a lot of fish in a small tank and they're making a lot of waste, that means you've got to do water changes more frequent. That means that you've got to make sure that you're not overfeeding too and your fish are eating all the food. But once again, if the fish are eating all the food, then they're producing more waste, and then that ends up becoming just, you know, a vicious cycle. So finding that sweet spot is essential. In my opinion, starting with like 60 litres minimum is probably the best starter tank for anyone in the hobby, because when you start off in the hobby, you got these impulses. You'll go to a shop, you'll see a fish and go, oh, I like that, and then you go another shop and you go, oh, I like that too, and before you know it, you've got Noah's Ark, you've got 2s of everything, and then you end up overstocking, and then you find out, oh, it'll be better to have more of this fish because I like this fish a bit more than them. And before you know it, your tank's fully stocked. You're doing water changes almost every other day, especially if you're testing, because then you'll be able to track that. But then you're getting a bit overwhelmed at that point. So what I'd say is start with a 60 litres minimum and then see how you feel about it. And then if you feel like, oh, I've got a small stocking in here and I can maybe downsize a little bit, then that's perfectly fine too. But I honestly think a 60 litres is grand. I started off with a 22 litre, and after a month I upgraded to 60 litre, and then stayed with that 60 litre for 4 to 5 years. And within that time I learned so much on what fish can go with what, how many fish can go in this confined space, and it gave me a lot of learning time. It gave me a lot of time to be able to figure things out and go through the trials and stipulations of fish keeping, and that's where I ended up learning that I could look after fish in the right way, with the right requirements, with water changes, with not overfeeding, with not overstocking, and etc, etc. And that's how I've ended up with 3 tanks and hopefully more. That's the whole point of having this rack back here. But yeah, that is number 5 for today's list. But yeah, that's my 5 points for you today. Now, of course, I know there's many more things that I could go over and bring up in another video. And yeah, if you want to see another video on beginner tips or things that you may think that you want to learn about, drop a comment down below. I'd love to help you out. I've got 6 years of fish keeping. I've worked in 2 fish shops and I run a social media for a fish shop too. So I've got a fair bit of knowledge to share, and I'd love to share it and help more people succeed in this hobby. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.